you have just witnessed some paranormal activity. Much more that is, I think, interesting. I think what you just witnessed is actually more interesting than this whole movie we're reviewing. I never imagined in a million years when I saw Paranormal Activity that I'd ever see Paranormal Activity, or that there'd ever be a Paranormal Activity 3, let alone that I'd ever see it. But it's one of these things like with Saw, which is like, why are people going back to this? And I found it cheap, actually not that cheap, but I didn't give, I bought it secondhand, so I didn't give the studio. It's very important to me, I've already mentioned this, that you don't give the studio, and I don't want to give them, I don't want to support this shit. So, Paranormal Activity 3. We've reviewed the first two. I gave the first one 0 stars, and I actually gave the second one a half a star because of its actual multi-camera aspect. Paranormal Activity 3 is back to 0. This is...
As it should be.
As it should be. This is just absolutely just stupid, and I'm kind of I'm a movie fan, and we're both movie, if we could have our way, we'd probably both be making movies.
Yeah.
And so we've made some movies, video movies and all this kind of stuff. So it pisses me off when a movie like this, which looks like it could be made in 2 days, has 4 movies and probably working on a 5th right now. They're probably filming.
Fifth and a spin-off.
Well, fuck yeah. Well, good. It's depressing. So, because I think it's everyone likes their own things, but I think that even all what's that word? I don't know what that word is, but I think that we've probably done things that are more entertaining, even if it's not just our opinion or bias. That's all biased aside. We've probably both done things that are more interesting than this movie.
Yeah.
One of the first things that pisses me off about this movie is I actually got used the Blu-ray. I was very interested because this movie took place. This was filmed in 1988 with a VHS camera. Well, shit, I didn't know they had high definition VHS cameras in 1988.
Everything looks crisp and clear like none other.
I'm gonna show you footage that I shot in 1988. Okay, it's coming up. You can't see how horrible it is because of this horrible quality of the reviews in general. But I'm going to show you actual, I just happen to have actual color VHS 1988 footage that I'm going to show right now to give you an example of what 1988 VHS footage looks like, and we'll be right back. There's some real, there you go, there's some real 1988 VHS footage. Now that's real VHS 1988 footage, not 2012 high definition. To me, this is almost, we've never done like -0 stars, like -1 or anything, but if we did, this might be a -1 for me because of the aspect of tell you what, if you got a movie, a shot on video, or a found footage movie that was supposed to have been shot on VHS in 1988, first rule, shoot it on VHS.
Right.
Preferably with a camera that was available in 1988. Take it on.
I'm gonna give the movie, I'll be a little more generous, I'll give it a half a star.
Okay, what's the reasoning for it? You're entitled to that's fine.
The one genius thing you saw at the beginning of our review here was
it's not hard to mimic.
The camera moving.
Didn't he tape it to a fan?
Right, it was a fan, a blow fan thing, which I actually think is kind of clever, and it allowed for the only good shot in the movie where the thing is going back and forth, and you see the ghost kind of creep up under the blanket. and that was the one good thing.
That's
with
true.
This movie.
I gotta admit, that's cool.
And it was creepy, and it was wonderful. Everything else is completely dismissible. They have Katie Featherton in the opening scene just to have her in the opening scene,
Yeah.
along with the sister from the second movie, for literally about a minute and 30 seconds, if that. Then you're following these kids, and it's shot currently, and it's very clearly shot currently. It doesn't even evoke the feel of 1988. If anything, it evokes the feel of the mid-90s, and that's being generous.
I gotta admit, there was a Teddy Ruxpin bear,
There was that.
which
saw
is,
that,
I think,
yeah.
the only like period 80s thing that was there, which I appreciated, having been aware of Teddy Ruxpin at that time.
And but otherwise, it's completely stupid. And the movie, like, I actually liked the first movie. Upon rewatching it, I gave it 3.5. The second movie, I gave it 3 stars.
Oh shit, I don't remember that.
This movie, I give like a 1/2 star. The thing that was interesting with the first one was that you didn't know anything. There was no explanation for the demonic presence. In the second one, they kind of give a little explanation, backstory as to why it's attacking Katie Featherton's character. In this one, they flat out explain it, and you find out it's a cult of some witchcrafty nonsense. Completely lost me. I'm done. Franchise over at this point. It has lost anything of interest about it, and like that's where most of the negatives come in. It's completely horseshit and trashy. You haven't seen it yet. I'm assuming the fourth one.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do it.
The fourth one is much better than this one.
Holy shit!
But
isn't like the character like some kind of teenage girl or something?
it takes place like last year, and it takes place after the events of the first 2 movies. I'm not going to spoil it.
Not that there's anything to spoil.
No,
but
it takes place after the first 2 movies, and so it's at least a story that's moving forward and not going backwards anymore, which is a pleasant thing about it. But if I were the filmmakers of this franchise, I would have ignored this installment as if it didn't happen. But because it's part 3, even though it's the most prequel of the other ones, they still run with the stupid cult theme that was evoked in this movie. Yeah, and that's just so disappointing. But there you have it. It's absolute horseshit across the board. I'm a little generous because I liked One Shot.
Well, yeah, the one shot's cool, but it's not worth it for me.
No, I'm sure you can just find it somewhere on YouTube.
You can,
no doubt.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, you can see actually, I don't know if it's the same shot, but the same setup where they pan over, you can see the dissolve, because I think maybe it was where all the furniture's on the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
Which, because it's been a couple seconds since I seen it, I don't know what was supposed to be there anyway, so I didn't know what was different until it all fell on the ground. But I think when it pans over, you can see it dissolve, because you can't do that obviously in a couple seconds.
No.
And you can see it, and I'm like, you assholes. And then I rewound it because I didn't know if it was supposed to be some supernatural thing, but no, it was just a bad dissolve.
Yeah, this movie was absolute trash. It was some of the worst horror movie I've seen. Like this matches and mirrors every bit as bad as the Saw movies got, and they only got this bad once, which was with the very final Saw movie. How this got granted a sequel, I have no idea. The fact that the sequel was better than this, I guess, shouldn't be a surprise.
Well, because how can you?
How do you get worse?
To four?
Yeah. Like how could you possibly get worse? But they succeeded at making a better movie than 3. That's not necessarily a compliment, but we'll review that once he sees it next summer.
Maybe next year. All right. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
No, actually, you know what? Do your fingers.